All right, what is going on out there in the land of YouTube? What's up? It is Friday. We are getting ready for a big weekend ahead of us at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We have lots of action coming your way, so we have a lot to get to. We have some news to talk about. We have breaking news from this week. It seems like we've had a ton of it, so we'll get right into it. I'm just sharing this in a couple groups, trying to get some folks in here. I see we got one person in. One thing I discovered when I was kind of going through my settings is somehow I was set to like Afghanistan or something as my country. So I don't know if that had anything to do with any of the problems I've been having here and there with YouTube, but um, so we figured I got that all figured out. So hopefully we will be good to go. If you guys want to chat about anything, we have a chat up and running. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, YouTube is actually going to require us to say if this stuff is made for kids or not. That's to comply with COPA. I know I talked about that a little bit on the Facebook side of things, but just so you guys know that none of the stuff that I create is made for kids, even though I might have some diecast shown in the back here and stuff like that. It's basically all adult driven, and that's like I said, simply because of the fact that if I slip a curse word here or there, I'm not worried about getting people all up in arms about oh, my kid's watching this show. Well, your kid shouldn't be watching this anyhow. Your kids can get news from NASCAR in lots of different places. NASCAR.com puts out a lot of really fantastic stuff, and we'll go from there. So we have a lot of craziness that happened this week, and I guess the news is kind of quieted a little bit. But I got an email this morning from Stewart-Haas Racing, which is really what I was waiting for yesterday. I was kind of waiting for the PR to come out because I do get all the Stewart-Haas stuff. I don't get a lot of PR directly to me. I get some stuff. And Stewart-Haas is one of the groups I've been getting for a number of years. So I got the email this morning. I'm actually just trying to scroll back up here and try to find it. So I got this morning, right around 9 o'clock. Stewart-Haas Racing promotes Custer to Cup. So Stewart-Haas Racing announced that they will promote Cole Custer from their NASCAR Xfinity Series team to the NASCAR Cup Series in 2020, whereupon the current 9-time race winner in the Xfinity Series will drive the team's number 41 Haas Automation Ford Mustang. So that answers the question of what car number is he going to drive? How is that all going to happen? He is driving the 41 for Stewart-Haas. Custer has a chance to add to his 2019 Xfinity Series championship to his resume as a 21-year-old racer from Laredo Ranch, California, is set to compete for the series title on Saturday at Homestead Miami Speedway as part of the Championship 4 with fellow Xfinity Series drivers Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and Justin Allgaier. And then this is a quote from Gene Haas. Gene Haas said, "I was asked last year about this time what Cole needed to do to earn his place in the NASCAR Cup Series, and I said he needed to win," said Gene Haas, co-owner of Stewart-Haas Racing, with 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Tony Stewart. Well, Cole has done that a lot. He's shown that he is ready to compete at the next level, and we're giving him that opportunity. Custer finished second in last year's Xfinity Series championship to Reddick, and 2019 has proven to be a breakout campaign for Custer. The PR goes on to say he came into this season with 2 wins, one in 2017, which he earned at Homestead Miami Speedway, and another in 2018. This year alone, Custer has claimed 7 victories, 6 poles, 16 top fives, 23 top 10s, and has led 907 laps. Custer's 7 wins are the second most this year, only behind Christopher Bell with 8. Custer's 6 poles ties him with Bell for the most poles this season. Custer, Bell, and Reddick will resume their rivalry in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2020, with each earning a promotion from their respective teams to NASCAR's Premier Racing Series. Tony Stewart goes on to say, Cole has certainly earned his spot in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2020. He's consistently run up front, leading laps and winning races. The level of competition increases dramatically in the NASCAR Cup Series, but it's where Cole belongs after proving himself in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And then the PR goes on to say that he's been promoted throughout the ranks, this, that, and the other. So Cole Custer driving the 41 next year. Now, I know people yesterday were trying to say, "Oh, I told you so, Bobby. He was going to get a cup seat." You know, da 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 da. You were saying, "Oh, he's not going to get it." Listen, I only tell you guys what I read on the internet. I don't. I, unlike some people, don't have inside sources of people that are telling me this, telling me that. I have to. A lot of what I have to do is I have to read online, go on Twitter, do this, do that, try to figure out what's real and what's fake. Okay, and a lot of what I was reading was Cole Custer was not going to have a full-time cup seat next year, that he was going to have a partial schedule, and he was going to run full-time Xfinity again. That's what I heard around August, September. Okay. Now, that was before the whole Suarez sponsorship things started happening, and Stewart-Haas had their conversations with Daniel and his folks about what their 2020 sponsorship package was going to look like. So obviously something came up. Daniel kind of alluded to it a little bit in the video that he had sponsorship. They were very close to signing a contract with Stewart-Haas, but at the end of the day, they didn't have enough to get over the hump. Now, I don't personally think that this was something that Gene Haas turned around and said, well, I want to keep Cole in the Xfinity Series another year because Daniel Suarez has got more sponsorship than what Cole Custer's going to have. I would be hard-pressed to find that you're going to see a major sponsor announcement come out of Stewart-Haas for Cole Custer this offseason. I really doubt it. Okay, Cole has driven most of his career with Gene Haas funding it. Now, I know Cole's dad, Joe, has been a prominent member in Haas CNC Racing, Stewart-Haas Racing for years. Okay, this is not unlike the situation that Austin Cindric is in at Team Penske. Okay, this is a guy who's in the seat that he's in because of his father helped get him there. Okay, you know, his father was in the right place at the right time. The whole thing went down with Gene Haas. He got thrown in jail for a couple of years. Guess who ran Haas CNC, Stewart-Haas Racing? It was Joe Custer. Okay, so Cole's father ran Stewart-Haas Racing or Haas CNC. I forget exactly what time frame Gene went into prison for, but needless to say, Joe Custer was running that team, and it's not the first time this is going to happen. It's certainly not the last. Okay, like I said, you have Austin Cindric, who's very likely going to end up in a Penske car at some point in time in the Cup Series. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it's not in the next couple of years. I really think the tipping point for Austin Cindric getting a Cup seat is probably going to come next year. And the reason why I say that is Matt DiBenedetto has a 1-year contract to drive for the Wood Brothers, which is essentially the 4th Penske car. Okay. It's going to be interesting to see, does Menards renew their contract and then keep Matt DiBenedetto in that car? If not, and the Wood Brothers, dare I say, lose that sponsorship of Menards, and it comes down to keeping their relationship with Penske or going back part-time and not having their relationship with Penske, I think they're going to try to keep it at all costs. And I do think that would mean that you would see Austin Cindric drive that car, would drive the 21. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they don't get Moneyline involved in the Cup car at some point in time over there at the Wood Brothers, and maybe get some other partners that Penske works with on a yearly basis on that 21 car to fill out the schedule, because I don't really see how else that would work. But that's where I really think that's going to happen. But that's next year. That's next off season. We'll have to worry about that, or this upcoming season. Really, we'll have to see what happens there. But Custer to the 41. It sounds like Suarez has some opportunities that he can look at. The couple that I've heard, or the one that I heard really predominantly, was RCR, Richard Childress Racing, either driving the 31, which would be the 3rd Cup car over there at Childress, which would be interesting because if they bring that back, That'd be interesting. Then you kind of heard today Tony Stewart made a mention of it in his press conference that um, they are going to work with Daniel to try to help him out if they can get a seat and try to keep him in their system. I don't know what that means. I know they formed a relationship with Go Fast Racing. There was some talk at one time that that's where Cole Custer was going to go. Corey LaJoie isn't re-signed 100% to Go Fast, but I know that that was their plan. I guess you could see Suarez driving the 32 with some funding and maybe with cars and stuff that are going to go over there. Maybe that's a possibility if that's something that hasn't been explored yet. You still have the two Ford cars, or at least the two Ford cars that of what I understand that they're going to field over there at front row. You have one for sure open, which would probably be the seat that John Hunter Nemechek's going to fill now that Matt Tifft has left the organization, and that was a mutual parting of ways there. I would imagine that John Hunter Nemechek would be one of the drivers over there at front row next year, and then the other either being Michael McDowell or Daniel Suarez if Suarez brings enough funding to the table. And do they form a partnership with Stewart-Haas to enable Daniel Suarez to quote unquote stay in the family? It'll be interesting to see if that happens. The other thing I could see happening is there was a rumor earlier in the year that Tyler Reddick was talking to Roush Fenway about the 16 car possibly coming back. Suarez could again be linked at Roush as a third car. Aris sponsorship, keeping him in the Ford family. Stewart-Haas kind of farming him out to another Ford team. I could see any of those scenarios happening. The Childress one is probably the one I would say I would put my money behind, just because of the sheer fact that it sounds like Suarez would have the Xfinity 2 car as his full-time ride, and then would drive races in the 31 on the Cup side, trying to build some more sponsorship to run a full Cup schedule, probably in 2021. But then I think other things might happen. There's other dominoes that you can kind of see coming. What happens with Jimmy Johnson? Who replaces Jimmy? You can see the dominoes are going to fall this offseason coming up. Not 19 going into 20, but 20 going into 2021. I think is going to be an interesting offseason. And I do think there's going to be a lot of change coming in this sport in the next couple of years. Not just schedule-wise, but I think driver-wise as well. And I think you'll see a lot of that next offseason. The other news that we had was in the Truck Series. So we had a lot of movement in the Truck Series the last couple of days. Tyler Ankrum has gone from DGR Crosley to GMS Racing. So he's going to drive a truck for them. They didn't announce, I think it was Leania or something like that was a sponsor this past weekend at ISM. They're going to be on his truck. And then Razorback, which has been, I think it's Razorback, a company that Rusty Wallace is involved with, is going to be his other primary sponsor on that truck this upcoming season with GMS. They didn't announce the truck crew chief, and they also didn't announce the truck number, but Tyler Ankrum over to GMS as part of their 3 full-time truck effort, which is a step up from the 2 that they've had this year and the part-time effort that they had for Sam Mayer. And Sam's going to be back with GMS next year running part-time, as he's only going to be 17. So, and then they signed somebody from World of Outlaws. I think the Dirt Late Model Series is going to go over there and drive some races as well. So it sounds like GMS is building up their truck program. Again, still no confirmation of the fate of the Xfinity program, but all indications are they've sold off cars already to other organizations. So it sounds like they're just not going to be back next year altogether, but nothing confirmed from GMS that they're getting out. Kyle Busch Motorsports announced 2 drivers for full-time rides for 2020. The first was Christian Eckes, who's going to drive the 18 Safeway Toyota Tundra. He's going to be replacing the departing Harrison Burton, who's going over to Joe Gibbs Racing, driving their number 20 Toyota Supra next year. He's going to have, I think, Dex Imaging and trying to think. He's probably going to have Dex. He might have Rheem a little bit, because Rheem actually, I think, used to sponsor him, if I'm not mistaken, in the in his K&N days a little bit. And then probably Morton Buildings will be one of his other sponsors. So he's had some different companies on board. Hunt Brothers Pizza is another one I can think of that's been associated with Harrison over the years. So probably got those same sponsors just moving up in the ranks. And I think Dex is going to have a bigger role in Harrison's career as they go to the Xfinity Series. And remember, they also have a deal in the Cup Series with Penske. So that'll be interesting to see how that all works out as Harrison's career continues to increase and get up the rankings. Excuse me. The other driver is going to be Raphael Lessert. He's going to be driving the Ford truck, which is the truck right now that Todd Gilliland's driving. Todd's going to move more than likely over to his father's co-owned organization of DGR Crosley. So that will be interesting to see. Now, it'll be interesting to see what number he ends up in, because I think they're going to shuffle the truck numbers up this off season. I think you're going to see maybe Natalie Decker in a different number. Todd in the 54 would be my guess. Just because that seems like the truck number they're going to put Todd in, if I'm not mistaken. He's driven that number quite a bit, and some of the other DGR stuff, and that to me has kind of screamed their flagship truck. No matter who's been in it, the 54 was always their primary number. So I think you'll see that as Todd's truck, and then I think Natalie Decker will be in something else next year, as far as what truck number she's going to be driving. But I would expect Decker's going to be back. I would say Anthony Alfredo's probably stands a good shot of getting a full-time ride. And then we'll see what happens with Dylan Lupton, whether or not he has enough funding to put a full-time season together. And then I would expect that Tanner Gray is going to be back as well, just because he's in their driver development program. His brother drives for him as well. So I think Tanner Gray will be back as well. The trucks are actually done with their 2 practice sessions for today. Let me get the results here in a second. So in the first session, Grant Infinger was quickest. He had a time of 32.141, 168.010 miles per hour, and that was on his first lap. So he ran 16 laps. That was his fastest lap on lap 1. Brett Moffitt was second quick. Then you had Austin Hill third, Ross Chastain fourth, Tanner Gray fifth, Sheldon Creed sixth, Anthony Alfredo seventh, eighth was Tyler Ankrum, Parker Kligerman ninth, and Dylan Lupton in 10th. So DGR Crosley had some pretty fast trucks there. They had the 5th, 7th, 8th, and 10th fastest trucks. Then you go to final practice, which ended right around 9:30 this morning. You had Stuart Friesen, who's one of the playoff drivers in the Championship 4. He was the quickest. Then you had Jesse Little, Christian Eckes, Dylan Lupton, Todd Gilliland, Derek Kraus, who's driving for Bill McAnally in that Toyota Tundra. He was 6th. Harrison Burton 7th. Gus Dean in 8th. Cody Rawbaugh was 9th quickest in the 9 truck. And then you had Tyler Ankrum 10th. So again, DGR Crosley had some pretty fast trucks. They were 4th and 10th in that session. And then Jesse Little, I mean, here's a guy that, runs a limited amount of races, usually performs very well in the truck series when he shows up. Doesn't have a win or anything like that to show for his efforts, but this will probably be one of his final, if not his final truck race that he's competing in the 97 truck. And then he's moving up to full-time Xfinity in 2020, driving for Johnny Davis Motorsports. I don't think they announced which car that was per se, but he's going to be in one of the Johnny Davis Motorsports entries next season in the Xfinity Series, making his move up the ranks. He was just funding in the truck series for him has always been a little interesting. They run as many races as they can with the funding they do. They used to have some support from ThorSport. They used to get some trucks off of them. I don't know if that's still the case today, because they do run Fords. They did run Toyotas a couple years ago when ThorSport was racing trucks from Toyota. But since the switch to Ford, Jesse Little's been running Fords as well. So I've been talking about the Championship 4 on the Facebook shows. Last night, I kind of threw out all my championship picks. For tonight, I think Ross Chastain's going to get this championship won. The Melon Man Challenge will be complete. Ross has won on all kinds of styles of tracks this year. He's won at Pocono. He's won at Kansas. He's won at Gateway. I really do think this is Ross's season. The Melon Man Challenge gets completed with a win, parking in Victory Lane at Homestead, Miami, and that party would be off the chain if he wins. Just telling you now, that's going to be a crazy, crazy party for the Melon Man if he gets to Victory Lane tonight at Homestead, Miami. Now, as for the Xfinity Series, I've been saying it for a little bit. I think Christopher Bell, this is his championship to lose. I know he had problems last week. I know he struggled here at Homestead, Miami in the past. I don't really see how he's going to lose this championship unless he beats himself or his team beats themselves. I really think that this is going to be a straight up sweep for Gibbs as far as the two series that they compete in. I think they win both of them. So I'm going to take Christopher Bell on tomorrow night, winning the championship for JGR before he goes to the Cup Series and drives with Levine Family Racing. Now, the Cup Series. We've discussed this on the Facebook show a couple times, and here we are again trying to discuss who's going to win this championship. I think it's really hard for me to say that that I wasn't a little bit surprised that Denny Hamlin won last week, because I was really surprised. Do I think that's enough to say that Denny is going to win this championship? No. I know Ben, who's probably the biggest Denny Hamlin fan I know out there, said that on Facebook, he said that Denny's won there twice. And I know he's won there before, but I forgot it was twice. I really don't know if I like Denny in this race. It's a pressure situation. In the past, he struggled when it comes to pressure. He's usually not that good at these events when there is that kind of stress on him. He's had a really good year. He hasn't been marred by the pit road penalties that he's normally marred by. So I would say it's going to be between Denny and one of his teammates. Now, most people are going to say Kyle Busch would probably be the other driver you would have to watch out for. But I don't think so. I think Kyle's has had his fair share of issues this year. And I think that they continue this weekend at Homestead, Miami. I think you will see Martin Truex Jr. in Victory Lane hoisting the winner's trophy and the championship trophy, picking up his second Cup Series championship and his first one since his 2017 win at Homestead, Miami, and 2 out of the last 3, which would be quite an accomplishment considering, he really could have won all 3. I mean, really could have won last year's even too, had it not been for some unfortunate circumstances in the final race. But Truex is definitely going to be in competition, I think, and will be tough to beat at Homestead, Miami. So those are my championship picks. If you guys have any picks of your own and you want to submit them in the comments in the live chat, let us know who you guys think are your championship 3, who's going to win the championships in the trucks, the Xfinity Series, and in the Cup Series. So let us know that. I just want to go over real quick the off-season plans, what we're going to do in the off-season. We're not going to do weekly shows on Facebook. I'm going to try to do YouTube lives, basically the same weeks that we do the Facebook lives, but I'll do them different days, so they're not back to back, kind of like what they are right now. So we will have probably a YouTube show early in the week, and then we'll do the Facebook lives later in the week, probably like a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, something like that. And then the YouTube show will probably be like Monday, Tuesday. What I would like to do on here is we're going to try to do different topics. So we'll pick topics to talk about. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, like underdog teams, you want to talk about your favorite track, you want to talk about your favorite fan experience at a race, whatever you guys want to chat about, leave them in the comments. That way there I can see what you guys are saying. First, subscribe. Please subscribe. Tell your friends about this channel. All right. We need subscribers. That's how this thing's gonna work. All right. And we have over 1,800 likes on Facebook, so I know there's people that come on here and look at this. So please check us out on our Facebook page. We'll still be doing live videos. Those might be more news oriented during the off season, whereas the YouTube shows will go into topics and we can discuss things like that. And we could do that also on the Facebook page, but I'd rather do that on the YouTube channel to try to continue to build our subscriber base here. So please subscribe to the page. Tell your friends about it because we're trying to continue to build the page. I'd love to do live on mobile, but in order to do that, we got to get to 1,000 subscribers. So, like I said, please tell your friends. I'd be eternally grateful for that. Let them know all about our stuff on social media. Like I said, Facebook.com/, the Crew Chief, Twitter @the Crew Chief, Instagram @Crew Chief's Corner. And then we'll build a custom URL here, hopefully in the next couple months once we get the subscribers for it. So that's the plan on YouTube this all season. We're going to do different topics. We will also do shows probably about every week that we do the Facebook shows. I already said we're not going to do a show during the week of Thanksgiving. So this week after the championship, we'll do shows. Then after that, we'll take a week off. Then we'll come back the week after Thanksgiving, do a couple shows. And then we will do the first 2 weeks in December for sure. And then probably the 2 weeks, the week before Christmas and the week of Christmas, we won't do any shows. And then in between Christmas and New Year's, we'll probably do something. And then after the New Year's, we'll probably do a schedule like every other week just to not keep everything, on top of each other. And then once we get back to Daytona, we'll go back to our weekly schedule and we'll do the 2 shows. So if you guys have anything, like I said, drop them in the comments. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in and watching us. I know daytime's a little bit harder to do, but the beautiful thing is once this is recorded, you can go back and watch it whenever. So thanks for checking us out. Like I said, we'll be back. I said on the Facebook channel, we'll probably be back on Monday. I might do another show on YouTube during the weekend just to try to do another show over the championship weekend. Maybe tomorrow and Sunday I might do something like in the afternoon before the race to kind of give like a pre-race show or something like that. We might do that. So we'll catch you guys later this weekend on here. And then, like I said, Monday on Facebook. Have a good day, everybody.